Welcome to Fireside Giants. My name is Alex with my co host here, Anthony Rivardo. Yesterday, Anthony recorded a sick episode taking a look at the Chicago Bears from the ESM's Bears channel. And really cool, interconnecting works going on here with the Giants having that first round pick from the Bears. Obviously, we want them to perform very, very badly. And a lot of people really like this segment. We're going to continue doing this, making sure you guys are all caught up on what the Bears are all about, if they're winning games, how the roster is looking. That way we can make sure that we get the best pick possible. But of course, a week from today, it's Sunday currently. Week from today, we have the Denver Broncos coming up. We want to talk about three keys to winning this game. Right off the bat, of course, we want to start off the season strong. We want this offense, which we really haven't seen yet, with all of our weapons, including Kenny Golladay, Saquon Barkley, Kyle Rudolph, and Kadarius Toney on the field at the same time. This is the first opportunity we're going to see them all together, most likely. Hopefully, they all make it onto the field. But we want to talk about three different factors that are going to impact this game. Before we do, Anthony, how are you doing today, my friend?
I'm doing real good. I'm really excited. This is our last Sunday without football, so I'm hyped looking ahead to next Sunday. Giants, Broncos, going to be a good one. I think it's going to be a very defensive game. I think you got two really strong defenses here, and hopefully the Giants can put all their playmakers out on the field and get a little spark on offense to kick off the season and hopefully start it off with a nice W. It's going to be a good one. I'm excited to break down the keys to victory for next Sunday.
Absolutely. I think for the most part, this is going to be one of those games that might be defensively intense, right? Because the Giants and Denver Broncos are really known for their defense. Denver, I mean, I'm looking at their depth chart right now. Not an easy situation. Let's talk about that for a second. One of the first ways the Giants are going to have to play this game to win is their defense is going to have to show up because we don't know if this offense is going to look any better than it did last year when we ranked 31st overall in points scored per game. Of course, the names on our offense, hopefully brew some optimism, but we don't know how they're going to perform up to this point. Looking at Denver's defense, pretty damn good unit. I mean, they have Von Miller, Bradley Chubb. They have Ronald Darby, Kareem Jackson, Justin Simmons, Pat Surtain, Bryce Callahan, Josie Jewell. They have a ton of amazing players on this defense. The Giants are going to have to match them, player for player. And their offense looks, I mean, the names on their offense also are pretty impressive. Jerry Jeudy, KJ Hamler, Garrett Bowles, Dalton Risner, Lloyd Cushenberry, Graham Glasgow. The right tackle spot's a little bit of a mess, so maybe we want to take advantage of that spot. Noah Fant, who's a fantastic tight end, Cortland Sutton, Tim Patrick, Melvin Gordon, and then the big question mark is Teddy Bridgewater. The thing is, like, you can have as many great weapons on an offense as possible, but if you don't have a good quarterback, it's all for naught. It doesn't really matter. So I think that the Giants, we have the pass rush, we have the interior guys, we have the linebackers, we have the cornerbacks and secondary to bait Teddy Bridgewater into making bad throws. And I think that's what we're going to be trying to do, win the turnover battle. The defense needs to win the turnover battle. It's going to come down to that pass rush, right? Our secondary can only hold up for so long, just like any secondary in the NFL. If you're not getting pressure on the quarterback, eventually they will find a way to pick you apart. They will find your weak spots, your kinks in the armor. And if Adoree Jackson is still ailing from this low ankle sprain, he could be a guy that they look at and say, let's keep targeting him, keep making him work. Eventually, the Giants are going to have to replace him, maybe with Rodarius Williams for a couple plays here and there, just to try and mitigate fatigue. So if they do end up having to put a rookie in, if they do end up having to supplement Adoree Jackson in any way, Denver's going to look to take advantage of that, and they have the receivers to do so. The one matchup I'm really kind of nervous about, Jerry Jeudy in the slot versus Darnay Holmes. Darnay Holmes has really had a tough summer. Sterling Shepard gave him the works, blended his ankles a lot of different times. And I think now this is an opportunity for Denver is looking at this Giants team. Let's talk about it objectively. What are the weak points on this defense? I would say slot corner is a bit of a question mark. Darnay Holmes did not look so good this summer. Adoree Jackson, big question mark. We're not exactly sure how healthy he is. He was running on practice on Friday and whatnot, but at the end of the day, like, he could still be ailing, could be, a little bit, a couple of days away from making cuts and actually putting weight on that ankle. And then the pass rush, how good are those outside linebackers going to perform? How good is the linebacker next to Blake Martinez? Are they going to go with Tate Crowder, Reggie Ragland? Are they going to attack that side that Blake Martinez isn't on? There are weaknesses on this Giants defense. There's not many, way more strengths than weaknesses. But if I'm the Denver offensive coordinator, Anthony, who are you looking at on this Giants defense? Who are you looking to target? I know it's a hard question because there's not many guys you really want to go after. But, like, I might be trying to force feed Adoree Jackson early in the game, try and knock him out. Maybe force feed Jerry Jeudy to Darnay Holmes. Maybe these are the matchups they're looking to take advantage of.
Yeah, I think defensively for the Giants, if you are talking about weak points, you're talking about the pass rushers on the edge and you're talking about the slot cornerback position. So for Denver, I could see a lot of play action rollouts where they kind of take advantage of maybe some weaker outside linebackers that struggle to set that edge. You can maybe do something like that, some outside zone where you kind of get away from those edge rushers or go after them because they're not as good as your interior rushers. Obviously, Dexter Lawrence, Leonard Williams, that interior group right there is really good. I don't expect any team to really plan on running the football down our throats every single day, but I do think that they will try and take advantage with some outside zone and go against our edge rushers who might not be as competent in the running game. And then, of course, you mentioned it. I don't think that Adoree Jackson is as much of a weakness, even though I know his injury is a little bit of a question mark. I don't think they're going to put him out there and give him too tough of an assignment if they don't feel like he's healthy enough to accept that challenge and really do well with it. So when we're talking about Adoree Jackson, I feel pretty confident in him. But yes, Darnay Holmes, he looked good last year for a rookie, but he's no longer a rookie, so he does need to take that step forward this year. He's had some really good moments in the past. He did have some ups and downs during the summer, so I'd like to see him hopefully bounce back this year and have a really good sophomore season. However, if I am the Denver Broncos offensive coordinator, I am looking at Darnay Holmes and saying, I have Jerry Jeudy, they have Darnay Holmes. That's my mismatch. That's what I want to take advantage of, and that's what I'm going to run this offense through.
I think I'm in the same boat as you. I would really go after Darnay. He's really that big question mark on this defense. We don't really know what he's going to bring. Of course, the Giants utilized Rodarius Williams in the slot this summer against multiple teams during the preseason, and he actually showed pretty decent abilities there against the Patriots specifically, and the Browns too. But I think that for the most part, they're going to roll with Darnay. Aaron Robinson's still on the pup list. He's going to miss the first 6 games of the season for the most part. This is a position probably the weakest on the Giants. You could always move Adoree Jackson to the interior and then have Rodarius Williams on the outside. You could mix and match, try different things. But if I'm the opposing offensive coordinator, if I'm Denver, I'm looking at Darnay Holmes and I'm saying, Jerry Jeudy, go break his ankles. Then again, Jerry Jeudy had a lot of problems dropping the football last year, which is really interesting. So hopefully the Giants can get lucky a couple of times there. But again, Cortland Sutton, big, really great receiver. He tore his ACL last year, I think, or is it his Achilles? I think it was his ACL. He tore something, and it was really bad, and he missed the entire season for the most part. James Bradbury, that's his assignment. Then you have Tim Patrick, another good receiver who probably will go up against Adoree Jackson. Um, the Giants have the secondary to get this done. They have the safeties and Logan Ryan, Xavier McKinney, and Jabril Peppers to really mask some of these coverages and take advantage. But what do you think the key to stopping Teddy Bridgewater is? Is it just putting pressure on him? Is it disguising coverages? Is it a little bit of both? How do you think Patrick Graham kind of attacks this quarterback situation? Because Teddy Bridgewater, he's a little bit better when it comes to the mental processing of plays and getting through his reads and progressions than Drew Lock, but he's not prone to mistakes, right? He's not going to blow the top off a defense. He's not going to take advantage of all these matchups and coverage schemes. He really, he might wait that extra second, which is the difference between getting sacked and a 50-yard pass downfield. So how do you think we best get after Teddy Bridgewater?
Yeah, I think with any quarterback that's more of a pocket passer, more of an athletically limited quarterback, the goal is to get them out of the pocket, to flush them out of the pocket with a strong pass rush. So when you're talking about Teddy Bridgewater and you're talking about how to stop him, I guess you kind of just have to rush the passer and you have to really get after the quarterback in that way, kind of make him throw some bad passes, force him into some bad decisions. Maybe there's not enough time in the pocket and he just throws one up and he didn't fully read the coverage because it was a disguised coverage. So he thought it was one thing, but now it's another. And he doesn't have enough time to read that because of the pass rush. So he throws up a pick, right? That's kind of what you want to do. You just kind of want to put him in tough positions to where he forces or you force a turnover with Teddy Bridgewater. And I think that's kind of the idea with most quarterbacks, of course, but specifically with pocket passers like Teddy Bridgewater, pass rush is really, really important. And of course, because he is a very smart quarterback, disguising your coverages is also a good strategy because that's a good way to kind of just play a little chess game with a smarter, high IQ quarterback like Teddy Bridgewater. A little different than what you would do with Drew Lock. Of course, their playing styles are very different, but in terms of stopping Teddy Bridgewater, because that's who the Giants are expected to face for the full game on Sunday, that's kind of what you got to do. Just get after the pass or get after the passer. Good, strong pass rush. Maybe Azeez Ojulari can get active. Hopefully, Leonard Williams starts the season off with a big game. And maybe even Dexter Lawrence, my dark horse, like sleeper Giants defensive player who could make the all pro teams. I'm really high on him this year. Maybe we could see him get a sack in week 1.
Yeah, you want to know who I'm really high on this year? Lorenzo Carter. And that's what Patrick Graham said this week. He said Lorenzo Carter looks like a different player. We actually interviewed his trainer Vince Lombard a couple months ago. He was training all MMA this summer, using hand speed, hand strength to take advantage of that fundamental approach during live action, and really using his hands to swat away jabs. We saw Andrew Thomas get beat a lot because he couldn't land that jab with his left hand. That is what Josh Uche did. He used those hand swipes, use those quick hands, disengage that offensive tackle, and get around the edge. That's what Lorenzo Carter is going to be doing from that outside linebacker position this upcoming year. So I'm really excited to see that. But the next two keys, right? There's three keys. The next two keys are directly correlated, and I'm sure you can already guess what they are. Good offensive line play and Daniel Jones not turning the football over. Both of those things are totally in correlation, right? The more Daniel Jones is under pressure, the skyrocketing probability that he's going to turn the ball over. When he's rolling out, when he's under pressure, he's trying to make something happen instinctually, and he makes a bad decision, throws an interception, fumbles the football. This is where he needs to just take it down by down. Don't make any crazy decisions. Just take the sack if you need to. Throw the football away, Daniel. Throw the freaking football away. I don't want to see you throwing into five-man coverage when Evan Ingram does not know how to stop running. Like, it's just, these are the type of things that Daniel Jones needs to work on. The offensive line, we've talked about this extensively over the past couple of weeks. The offensive line, who really knows what the starting five is going to look like, right? The Giants haven't given any indication that Shane Lemieux was starting, haven't given any indication that Ben Bredesen is starting, or Nate Solder and Matt Pert is starting. If I were to guess, I would say it's going to be to start week one. This could end up changing mid-game, right? They could be rolling with combinations, different rotations at specific spots to test the strong hand. But it's going to be Andrew Thomas at left tackle. I think that they might go with Shane Lemieux week one. Maybe they'll rotate Billy Price or Ben Bredesen throughout that game to just get them involved in some plays that they already know the playbook a little bit. Nick Gates at center, of course. Right guard's Will Hernandez. That's locked down. Right tackle, I think they're going to rotate Nate Solder and Matt Pert pretty frequently. Do you think that they're going to do that too? Because at this point, that position battle is not over. I don't see a clear-cut winner. And I mean, the Giants can't give away a starting job to a player that might not deserve it. And Matt Pert has had his struggles. Nate Solder has had his struggles. But at the end of the day, someone's got to merge. Someone's got to, protect Daniel Jones. And it's not about the development of Matt Pert right now. It's about protecting Daniel Jones and winning football games. Because otherwise, Dave Gettleman's going to see the street in a couple months.
Yeah, I don't know who's starting at each position on the line just yet. The Giants haven't made that fully clear. You mentioned the left guard is a question mark. Right tackle is a little bit of a question mark. Throughout the summer, they projected and kind of told us that Matt Parrott would be the starting right tackle. But, after seeing Nate Solder start for the first series against the Patriots in the final preseason game, now we're kind of questioning that. Is Nate Solder going to be the starter? And I guess we'll see. One thing that I'll say is I think we could have one starter in week one and a whole nother starter in week two due to the short week going from a Sunday to a Thursday game. That's something to keep in mind there. That's something that Alex and I have discussed quite frequently on this podcast, that the Giants can get kind of creative in these first 2 weeks of the season as they kind of test this roster and, test the waters, so to speak, with these players, kind of just see what happens week one, give those players a rest, and then start someone else in week two. And then you got that long waiting period for an extra long week three. And that's when you can maybe return to the first guy or give the other guy who just had the short week a chance to recover. And really, that's what I think the strategy is going to be. I think maybe they're going to go with one starter in week one. I think Matt Parrott probably. And then they might go with Nate Solder in week two if Matt Parrott doesn't look so good. If Matt Parrott goes out there and just dominates, of course, keep him in. Make him the starter in week two. But it's something that they can consider. And then in terms of rotating offensive linemen, that's something that Joe Judge really liked to do last year. He thought there was a lot of value added by rotating in different left guard, different right tackle at times. He liked to get creative in that way, and I could absolutely see him starting off the season testing out different configurations of the offensive line, rotating guys in and out, and specifically speaking for the right tackle position in week one.
And I think that's the most efficient method, right? It has to come down to helping this offensive line gel. You can't just throw guys into the fire. It's going to be Shane Lemieux, in my opinion, week one, at least to start the game, because he is probably the only guy that knows the playbook to an extent where you can trust them. Brent Bredesen just got there like on Thursday, I believe, and Billy Price was still, working his way through COVID protocols. These guys haven't had any live action. They didn't even have practice for the past couple of days. So this upcoming week, it's going to be a cram session, right? They're going to be trying to get these guys in, trying to get them to know the playbook. There's going to be some stuff that they miss. I think they're going to have maybe a couple of design plays that they know very well, right? They're going to practice some specific things. But at the end of the day, like Shane Lemieux is the only one that really knows the playbook to that extent where you can trust him on a down by down basis that he's going to get it right and know the protection calls, know the protection scheme, know the lingo. These guys just simply don't know it yet. It's going to take some time. So we will probably see them take over. I think Ben Bredesen wins that left guard spot eventually. I just think he's a better player than Shane Lemieux, just straight up, even if Shane Lemieux is healthy. Better run blocker. He looked fantastic this preseason, absolutely phenomenal this preseason. He had like 200 snaps, gave up like 2 hurries and 2 pressures, and giving him some more continuity, giving him some more time. If he ends up being a good quality starter for this Giants team, he'll be an absolute steal for a fourth round pick. They also got a fifth and seventh round pick in return, so it could be a pretty damn good deal in my opinion. Daniel Jones though, gotta stay consistent, gotta stay safe, play it safe, right? They have such a good defense with Von Miller, Bradley Chubb, and a great secondary. Don't make any bad decisions. Take it down by down. If you turn the ball over instead of punting it, I would rather go 3 and out than have Daniel Jones throw a turnover in the red zone. You know what I mean? Like that's just the reality of the situation. You don't want to give the other team the football because especially when you're taking risks early in a drive, which is necessary. Don't get me wrong. But when you're taking risks early in a drive and your defense just came off the field and they just battled it out over a 10 play drive and stopped in just short of the our side of the field, you got to make that stop. You got to keep the drive going. The Giants need the number one priority, time of possession for this offense. In my opinion, that's how I feel. Is they're going to be able to walk away with wins this season. They need to have more time of possession on offense. They had about half of what the defense had last year, so it was a really bad situation. But those are really the three keys to winning this game next week. Great defensive play. This is going to be a low scoring game, in my opinion. Good defensive game. We have to have a good, strong offensive line play, which is very optimistic. I have no indication or no justification for that unit actually performing extremely well. If we reach average level, I'll be jumping joy. I'll be out of this world. And then Daniel Jones not making any dumb mistakes. If he doesn't make any dumb mistakes, we have a 50% chance more likelihood of winning this football game. And that really is how it goes. Because the Giants would have won that preseason game against the Patriots if he didn't throw an interception. I know it's preseason, but we've seen this many times before. If Daniel Jones didn't make a couple of dumb decisions against Tampa Bay last year, we would have beat the Super Bowl winning team. There's just plays throughout the season against the Steelers. That momentum change when he threw that interception. Bud Dupree was on his back. Throw that football away. Those are the different plays that end up winning and losing football games for you. But these are the three keys I think is super important to keep in mind. This is going to be a week one game, so it's not going to be like mid-season form. It's not going to be pretty. There's going to be mistakes. Hopefully we just make less mistakes. That's kind of the ultimate goal here. But guys, 1 week away, my friends. I am so freaking excited. I can't wait to watch this game. My Lord, the football gods bless us. Just pray, light a candle to the football gods tonight. Every week, every day this week, we need it. We need it, my friends. If you're celebrating the Jewish holiday, please enjoy. Have a great long extended weekend. I hope you guys really enjoyed this last weekend of football. A lot of college football on, so hopefully you're enjoying that as well. But my friends, thank you so much for being the Fireside Giants. Make sure to subscribe below on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify. We'll catch you guys on the next video.